Here at Staunch TV in 2021, I vowed to focus more on movie genres I neglected. Movie genres that I indeed love. For instance, did you know that I long for low-budget actioneers with any action star named Don the Dragon Wilson? Did you know I like horrible family movies from the 90s that got awful reviews? And I absolutely love a good black comedy. So I figured why not for the first Hear Me Out of 2021, look back at a movie that has all of those elements. Well, aside from Don the Dragon Wilson. Hear Me Out. House Arrest is a 1996 comedy film directed by Harry Weiner of Space Camp fame, and the film stars the immortal Kevin Pollak and Jamie Lee Curtis, as well as Jennifer Tilly, Wallace Shawn, Ray Walston, Tappy Tibbins, and a blooming Jennifer Love Hewitt. The film was also the debut of Kyle Howard, or, Gunther. We will be back to talk about that one. Subscribe to stay notified. In the film, we see a seemingly happy family who, upon the parents' anniversary, decide to get divorced. That's when the kids come up with an ingenious plan to get them back together, lock them in the basement. But when other troubled kids hear of their plan, they too decide to attempt to save their own families, and wackiness ensues. Now, I know what you're thinking. House Arrest? A black comedy? It's rated PG, and it's a wholly family-oriented film. But, this might be the only black comedy family film to have ever been made. It has all the tropes, really. The bizarre offbeat plot, the extreme comeuppance circumstances, deep family drama, violence, sorta.
Et voila!
I think you might want to give this a little more thought.
And jokes done in overall bad taste that still work. And here it manages to do it all in a family film, albeit, toned down a bit. This one made as a good transition into heavier subject matter and dramas for me as a kid, and I understood even then what was happening, and always considered this one an underrated classic. It rides the line perfectly between reality and fantasy, never leaning too heavily on one more than the other, really, and we're always brought back to earth no matter how wacky things get, even having a couple 90s montages. And the amount of character development we get from our leads, including the child actors, is amazing to see in this. It never really happened back then. Again, in a family movie. A kid's movie, if you will. Maybe that's because it was produced by HBO. This is oddly one of my favorite Kevin Pollak characters, who is one of my favorite character actors in general, and I'll touch on his career again on the channel. Here, he's the everyday schmo that you can tell is just done with this marriage. In the beginning of the film, he's checked out. In fact, so is Jamie Lee Curtis, who also nails this over the damn marriage vibe, They took things seriously here, and it shows, never treating whatever audience it was supposed to reach like idiots. And overall being a very unique take on the divorce drama. It's cool to see the whole movie dealing with these issues from a kid's perspective. Jennifer Love Hewitt is very young here, and she shines, and she has a catchy tune in the soundtrack as well. This was the beginning of her pop star days. Y'all guys remember that? House Arrest works in every way and managed to become a cult classic in its own right, thankfully. As like many other underrated classics, it was basically lampooned by critics.
House Arrest is one of the most ungainly, unfunny, and unnecessary movies I've seen in a long while. I can easily imagine how it might have been funny to lock all the parents in the basement, but only if you wanted to do something clever and original with them instead of having them bluster and posture through an endless series of predictable gags and tired dialogue. Make the parents smart. Make the kids smart. Make it more real, and you might have had something. This is a very tired formula movie without 1 ounce of daring.
It was really tough to sit through this.
The film is comparable to other films like Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, which is another great family black comedy in my opinion, and there are a few other movies as well. and definitely takes on that while the parents are away, the kids will play motif that was so popular in the 90s. I'd recommend House Arrest to any kid whose parents are going through a divorce and who's very confused by it all, as it is indeed one of the best black comedy family films ever made. Be sure to check out the rest of the Hear Me Out series, and let me know, what are some of your favorite underrated classics? Be sure to subscribe and hit that little notification bell to join all the strange fun over at Staunch TV. Don't be a fucking loser.